Welcome to Bonnie's Beat. I'm your host, Bonnie Squires. We're coming to you from Radnor Studio 21 in beautiful downtown Wayne, across the street from a pet store. That's not a comment on the kind of programming that we do, however. We like to showcase people who are doing important things in the community, whether it's academia, politics, culture, arts, and we like to celebrate important anniversaries. So today, we're starting the celebration of a 75th anniversary by interviewing the CEO of JEVS, which used to be Jewish Employment and Vocational Services, but now it's JEVS Human Services, and the CEO, Jay Spector, is right here in the studio with me. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Bonnie.
And he assures me he's not been there for 75 years, but he's been there a long time.
A long time, yes.
How long have you been?
37 years.
Were you the CEO all 37 years?
I've been the CEO for the last 21 years. I started as the COO.
That's a long run, 21 years in today's world.
I think the average CEO lasts 7 years, so
maybe that long.
I've had some good luck.
Because university presidents are down to like 5 years now.
Yeah.
Maybe they last 5 years. Sometimes they're thrown out earlier than that, you know. Anyway, we want to put on the screen the invitation for the 75th anniversary. There we go. And because Jeff and Kathy Pasek are very involved with JEVS, and their son, Benj Pasek, happens to be an award-winning songwriter. There we go. That's Jeff with the dark sweater, and that's his writing partner, Justin Paul. Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, they happen to write the Golden Globes award-winning song, City of Lights, which is performed by Ryan Reynolds and Emma Stone. What a gorgeous movie. Did you see the movie?
Yes, Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. I
Yes.
always mix them up. Ryan Gosling, absolutely. Thank you for correcting
No
me.
problem. But I did see the movie, and
Only once?
only once, yes.
It's funny because they had a brilliant advertising campaign tied to Valentine's Day, and they said, go see it again. And it's true. I keep telling people, if you're depressed about national politics, which I am every day, go see La La Land, and it will lift your spirits. And it's a pick-me-upper.
It
It's
certainly
wonderful.
is. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us what the mission is of JEVS Human Services, which has been around for 75 years. That's miraculous.
So I guess the best way to put it is that, you know, our mission really is to help individuals get to the highest level of sustainability in terms of their financial sustainability. If they are not working and they need a higher income, if they have low skills and need training, we provide all those services. We help people to become independent. So we work a lot with individuals who may have disabilities, and we assist them in being able to live as independent life as possible. We work with a lot of older adults, and you know the same model prevails there. Our goal is to keep individuals who are aging in their own homes as long as possible, so that they can have you know a good tenure at home and not have their into an institution.
Well, and it costs society a lot less if someone can stay in his or her own home or in their son's or daughter's home.
Oh, absolutely. Certainly it's a win-win for everybody because it helps families to be able to have their loved ones at home, gives them some support, and that support is significantly less than care in an institution.
So what are the different divisions of JEVS Human Services?
So we have a community living and home supports. That's where we operate 34 group homes for people with intellectual disabilities.
34 group?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Where are these group homes located?
A lot of them are in Northeast Philadelphia and Northwest Philadelphia. A couple in Montgomery County, and but
the law limits the number of people you can have in each home. What is it, 6 people? 6
it depends on the county. In Philadelphia County, it's 3. In Montgomery County, it's 4. With zoning, you could have as many as 6. We only have a few homes that are 6-person homes. Most of the homes are 3-person homes.
And how many people in staff do you need for a 3-person?
It depends on their condition, and it's 24/7 care. And typically, that means there's somebody, at least one person overnight, and then during the course of the day or the main evening hours before people go to bed, we're usually looking at 3 people being taken care of by probably 2 in most cases. Some people need one-on-one care because of their condition.
Yeah, it depends if somebody does not have the power of speech, if they're in a wheelchair, if they have a feeding tube, depends the level of health care that they need. But then again, people don't realize that a lot of people with intellectual disabilities and physical disabilities, even with both, they have paid jobs in the community.
Yes, they do. Yeah, and that's part of one of our goals is that, to offer opportunities for people who do want to work. And so many of our aging and mostly not so much the aging consumers as much as the individuals with disabilities, we do engage them in employment opportunities.
Do you do vocational training?
We do vocational training at our Orleans Technical College in Northeast Philadelphia. That's for individuals largely who, come in who have a high school degree and no skills, and they want to get some skills. So we do some training largely in the building trades. We're starting up some IT training and some healthcare training in the next few months. In fact, we're working with a partnership with Einstein Hospital.
And Einstein, they just celebrated their
150th.
150th.
Twice as old as us.
It was quite a celebration.
Yes.
I was there for that.
So I heard, yes. And so we're partnering with them to fill positions that they have trouble filling. One position is called a patient services representative. It's usually the person that you run into when you first walk into a doctor's office, and they take all your information down and get you ready for seeing the doctor. And there's huge turnover in those jobs. And so Einstein and JEVS have worked on a curriculum together, and so they're going to be involved in, we're recruiting students from 2 high schools in Philadelphia, and so we're working with Kensington Health Academies.
With what?
Kensington Health Academies.
Kensington Health Academies.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of that.
It's an actual public high school.
What
It's
is
not
it?
a charter school. It is a 4-year high school, and the focus is on learning about health careers. So we're going to take students who are transitioning out, and so they we'll work with them before they leave high school, and then they'll spend 3 months at the Orleans Center learning the specific curriculum developed by Einstein. And then they'll go for a paid internship at Einstein for a month, and then Einstein will hire afterwards. And so this is, the new direction of JEVS, and the new direction in the field is really engaging more fully with employers. The old way of doing business used to be, we think there's a need out there based on information, we do the curriculum, we train them, we then try to place them, and we hope that employers are out there at the end. But when you do it this way, you're going to get better results and better buy-in from the business community. So it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Let's put the information for JEVS on the screen right now. It's JEVS, J-E-V-S, humanservices.org. The phone number is 215-854-1800. Is that your direct line?
That's our main office number.
They don't get Jay
That's not my
Spector.
If they want me, they can have me.
No, they can ask for him if they want
Absolutely.
to. Let's talk about funding.
Oh, gosh.
Because Governor Wolf has one idea. He wants to put a lot of money into funding services for education, for disabilities, etc. And then we got the State House and the State Senate that are controlled by the other party, and all they want to do is slash and burn and cut, 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 cut. So where does your funding come from JEVS?
So actually, most of it does come from the state.
Ouch.
But that's usually money that is either a pass-through from the federal government. Ouch, ouch.
Ouch, ouch. Yes,
and
that's coming.
And
that
some of that
nightmare's
money,
coming.
and that money is usually, in some cases, matched with state revenue as well. But that's where the bulk of our money does come from a variety of 30-plus programs that we have.
Can you talk about what your annual budget is?
Yeah, sure. It's our annual budget is $92 million.
Oh my goodness.
We serve 35,000 people a year.
I had no idea. Where are your executive offices located?
So we're in Center City at 1845 Walnut Street. And
that's smart, just a few blocks away from City Hall.
Yeah, it's a good location for us being able to do business, because we do work a lot with the City of Philadelphia as well, because some of the money also flows to them before it comes to us.
Yeah. What happens when you read about the talk of block grants?
Okay.
What does that mean?
So block grants usually mean
less money.
Less money.
That's okay.
I mean, it's just simply the case. And you know, the one program that they're talking about now around block grants is Medicaid programs and Medicaid reform. And so right now, the Medicaid programs, the formula is different in every state based on poverty levels. But in Pennsylvania, the state receives 52%, and they have to come up with the 48%. So these are matching programs. If you were in a state like Alabama, the federal...
Let's not even imagine that.
But the federal, because of more rural poverty in that state, the match is even much greater. It'd be more like 70% federal to 30%. So every state is pretty different. But the challenge that we're going to be faced with is that, well, before I even get into the challenge, I think the issue is that most people, Bonnie, have no understanding whatsoever about what Medicaid is. I think most people think Medicaid is just giving health care to the poor in the inner city. And that is pretty much the least amount. And they don't know the difference between
Medicare
and Medicaid.
And Medicaid.
Get that confused too.
All the time.
But Medicaid is paying for children of low income, certainly, who need assistance. It pays for all of the disability programs. So if you have an intellectual disability, a behavioral health disability, if you're on the autism spectrum, if you have a physical disability, all the supports that are enabling those individuals to get help and care is Medicaid funded. The aging population, once you turn 60 and you are of low income, you then are eligible for Medicaid services. So if you think about people getting home care or institutional care in a nursing home, that's all Medicaid. And so, the very smallest part of the Medicaid dollar is spent on individuals who are single, without children, who are poor. But that's really the mindset. In fact, if you look at...
I know. And the interesting thing, when I lived in Harrisburg for 3 years, when I was the Associate Executive Director of the Teachers Union at PSCA, then I found out why the rest of the state hates Philadelphia. They don't want to know that the majority of state funds comes from Philadelphia. Sure. They just are myopic and see money going to Philadelphia.
Right. They don't count the going in, you're right. It's the going out that they look at.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was like such a shock that these people from other parts of the state, they hate Philadelphia. It's so irrational.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Medicaid and Medicare. They are clueless, and when they are so prejudiced, they say, well, all the money goes to poor black people in Philadelphia. And then you find out there are so many towns across the state, because I've been to them, that are 100% white and 100% on welfare, because there used to be a coal mine there. There used to be a steel mill there.
Yeah.
Now there's nothing. No. And the whole town is on welfare. But they don't count that. No, they don't take that into account.
Not at all.
A lot of prejudices. It's a shame. What kind of educational outreach do you do?
educational outreach in
To let
terms
the
of
public know what you're doing
communications,
and
yes.
why it's so important.
So, you know, we do a good amount of communications and public relations work. One of the, you know, I think that part of, we always talk about JEVS you know, being this quiet giant and the best kept secret in town. It used to be our tagline. And a lot of it is because, you know, for many of our consumers, customers that we serve, many of them are referred by an agency that funds us. And so because of that, we don't do a lot of direct communication to consumers. And in fact, some programs we're not allowed to.
I'm talking about the general public, the media, and especially the elected officials who vote on the governor's budget.
So,
because they need to be educated.
sure, and we do a good bit of that. Yeah, as much as we're allowed, we're not
'Cause you're a
allowed to lobby.
501c3.
Correct, but we can advocate, not for specific bills, but we can certainly educate our legislature, and we do a lot of that. I was just, you know, the last 2 weeks, I was in Washington twice. Once 2 weeks ago with the Jewish Federations in North America. It was Advocacy Day for people with disabilities, and we walked the halls of Congress, meeting our U.S. Congress people, and tried to visit with our U.S. Senate. And then I was back this past week with an organization called the National Skills Coalition, which deals with the workforce and helps us get in front of the legislature. And so we use a lot of other larger organizations that are really set up to do the heavy lifting, and then we come in. You know, we try to bring our board members with us as much as possible because they're constituents, and you know,
they vote and they give money to campaigns.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we do a lot of that education.
Some from column A and some from column B.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walter Annenberg taught me that many years ago. He said, Bonnie, you have to have friends on both sides of the aisle.
Absolutely.
Because you never know when the power changes hands.
And regardless, you know, even when the power changes hands, you know, for me, you know, my job every 4 to 8 years, I look at it as I may have somebody new to have to interact with, or not just one person, multiple people,
right,
because of the changing of the guards every 4 to 8 years.
Well, sure, because whoever's elected is entitled to bring in his or her own people around them.
So
we're watching that play out on television every day now.
We certainly are.
Let's talk about the 75th anniversary again. There have been so many major articles about, I want to show this one because this is great. I mean, nothing like having a picture like a whole page long of Benj and Justin Paul, his writing partner. This was in the Inquirer, December 4th. But there have been so many. And then here's another article where Benj Pasek was nominated for some more awards. And Benj is coming to your 75th anniversary celebration on March 27th at the Bellevue. And he's bringing with him Ben Platt, who's the actor who's performing in the original play that Benj wrote called Dear Evan Hansen.
Right. Biggest smash hit this season on Broadway.
Absolutely. It's been nominated for everything. Unbelievable.
So we're fortunate to have them coming in, and both Benj and Ben have actually volunteered their time. They're not charging us for this. They're donating their services. And they have a hectic schedule, and the fact that they're giving us an evening on Monday night, it's a blackout night on Broadway, so that's why we're having it on a Monday night. But it is incredible. That show is amazing, and we feel that really connects to our mission in a very important way. Our focus as part of our strategic plan developed for our 75th year is to continue to do the good work we do serving the populations that we serve, but to take some of our services and move them to a higher level. One of the concerns that we have is about the number of young people who are who are exiting school prematurely or exiting school without any skills. And what we really want to do is focus on helping individuals make that transition and be able to really not be another generation of people in poverty. And so we want to focus on what we can do to really enhance the opportunities for people who have challenges in that transition from high school to adulthood. Dear Evan Hansen really touches on that because it was inspired.
There's a tragedy that's central to it.
Yes.
And it was something that actually happened when Benj was at Friends Central High School, that a classmate committed suicide.
And so there are lots of young people with similar situations that are struggling to get by, struggling to deal with what's next in their life, their family lives, and this show does an incredible job of telling that story, and it's tough and gritty at times. Sometimes, you know, has a sense of humor to it as well. But
have you seen the show?
I have.
Oh, are you lucky?
I have to say, Ben Platt has a performance of a lifetime.
He's gotten everybody
he's
connected
amazing.
With the show has gotten rave reviews in the New York Times, in several news in the Inquirer. But when you say they fit in the JEVS special on a Monday, because I've interviewed, I'm friendly with Ben's past six parents. Jeff is a prominent attorney in town, and his mother's a prominent professor of psychology at Temple University, and I worked at Temple for a number of years, but I knew them long before that. But when I've written about Benj several times in my Mainline Times column, and every time I say, Kathy, I want to, can he give me 5 minutes on the phone, or can he email me? She said, Bonnie, we have to make appointments. We can't even see him because he's flying back and forth to Hollywood. He's based in Manhattan. He's all over the place. So I'm really excited that I'll get to see him in person on March 27th. What time is this called for?
It begins at 6 o'clock. With a cocktail hour, and then there'll be a dinner, and there's a little bit of program because we're honoring Vivian and Ozzie Lasco and the Lasco Family Foundation. They have been great donors who've helped us do the work that we're doing because we do have to fundraise a lot because the government dollars do not go far enough for the work that we want to do. And so the Lasco Family Foundation has done helped us build the Orleans Technical College back in 2007. When they were a major donor to the capital campaign that we did. And for a longer period of time, they've been involved with us in what's called the Lasco program, high school program, where we work with about 20 at-risk high school students who are making that transition from 11th to 12th grade.
How do you pick the students?
We advertise, and word of mouth gets out there, and we only serve about 17 to 20 students during the course.
Do you let their principals recommend them?
They get recommended from any source, from the principals, from parents who may hear about the program, counselors, certainly their synagogue maybe. It's a program that we do in the Jewish community.
But you don't only serve Jewish clients. For
this program, yes, but most of the clients that we do serve are not Jewish, but we were founded by 25 Jewish individuals back in 1941, which was meant to address some of the issues as a result of what was happening in Europe and with Jews coming over. We were started to help those Jewish refugees get English language training and jobs. And that's how we started. We've had a relationship since then with our Jewish Federation of Philadelphia, who still funds us for our career services programs. And but the reality is that we need lots of support. And so
how many thousands of people do you service each year?
35,000.
35,000.
Yes, and so with the...
What kind of staff do you have? How many people on staff?
Over 1,000. So I have to look at it two different ways. We have over 1,000 people in all our programs and our administration, and then we have a home care program, which is part of the home and community-based Medicaid service program that we started talking about earlier. And there are about 1,000 home care providers that we have.
Tell me a big success story.
Wow. I guess one that's really fresh in my mind right now is a refugee, very timely. This young man, Gen Z, who is from the Congo. He's
not a nice place these days.
No, and so because of the unrest in the Congo, which goes back, gosh, maybe 18 years ago, his family, or what was left of his family, him and his mother and father, they fled to Rwanda, where they were in a refugee camp for 18 years.
18 years?
Yes.
Oh,
his family, he has 5 or 6 siblings. They were all born in those refugee camps. And finally, after a couple of years of being on the list to be able to come to apply for refugee status, they were granted that status. And he came to our program and learned to speak English. We helped him find his first job, so he started to work. But he had some greater interests. He went into a program at the Orleans Center that is called Project WOW, which is for 18 to 24-year-olds who do not have their high school diploma, and they get their GED or their high school diploma, and at the same time they're learning a skill. And so he's been able to get through that program as well. He is working, and he just started at community college, and now we're trying to work with him to find him a part-time job so that he can work and go to school at the same time. He's a delightful young man, and he certainly is somebody who we are very proud of. And we were found on serving refugees, and to this day we still do it.
He sounds like a poster boy.
He is.
You should have his
great.
picture.
We have lots, but the beautiful thing about JEVS is we have a lot of poster boys, 35,000 and girls. Yeah, so we're, our work.
Let's put the information up on the screen one last time before we close. JEVSHumanServices.org, 215-854-1800, and people can Google and they can buy tickets.
Oh, absolutely.
For the 70th
you can go on
anniversary.
You can go on our website, and there's a click that you can make to the link and buy tickets right online.
Okay, and you always need volunteers, right?
Always looking for volunteers, yes.
Okay. Our guest today has been Jay Spector, the CEO of JEVS Human Services. And thank you so much,
My
Jay.
pleasure, Bonnie.
And we'll see everybody next week.